Ashley Banfield here. I want to wish you terrific luck with your podcast. What was that called again? That podcast, what was that called again?
You are officially 0%.
Oh my God.
KRZLE.
Yeah. Charles. Yeah.
Burt Reynolds pulls out a banana.
Yes, that's what I was
doing. Butterfly kisses.
Oh my God.
Hey, fuck these drums.
The synopsis just isn't good. Oh my God. Okay. And on that note.
Welcome to What Was That Called Again? I'm Thomas.
I'm Will.
And this is a movie game show where I select 3 movies and read their IMDb plot descriptions to Will, who then has to try to match the plot description with the correct title. And then afterwards, he also tries to guess the ranking of the 3 movies based on their IMDb star ratings. And we cap it off with a fun segment where I read a quote from the movie and a character of my choosing. And then Will has to try to guess what movie the quote came from. And so at the time of recording this, we had just finished recording last week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been on a major Paint Your Wagon deep dive.
Paint Your Wagon hype train is what we're going to call it. It looks really fun. We still haven't watched it yet. I'm probably going to watch this tomorrow because I just have to see this movie. We've watched several clips. We don't know yet the results of our competitive efforts to predict if and then therefore how the titular Paint Your Wagon is said in the film. So I look forward to that reveal. But just watching some of the clips, I can't tell if it's going to be a good movie, but it looks like it's going to, at least for me, be fun. So I'm
we'll
excited.
Still just assume that our predictions about the title is wrong.
I don't know. I've watched a couple clips. None of them gave anything away, but I feel like you might be on the right track. Maybe.
Okay. I'll assume not.
Oh, yeah. They could just never say it ever.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably accurate. Yeah, exactly. So, I'm looking forward to that, but we don't have any updates on that yet. So I'm just going to get ready for an attempt at. I think I'm going to do a hat trick this time.
Okay.
I'm not for sure if it's going to be 3 big goose eggs or all 3 correct.
one or the other.
Yeah, but I'm feeling like a hat trick, is all I'm saying.
All right. Well, we will find out how accurate your prediction is. I've had a couple glasses of wine,
and coffee,
and we can
right?
start. And a cup of coffee
and
as well.
And it's 3 a.m. So who knows what's going to happen?
Problem. We can start right away here.
No, I think we should delay it some more.
Okay, so the other day,
so let's go back into a deep dive about Heaven's Gate. So,
we can talk for another 4 hours about Heaven's Gate.
I still do want to see the documentary, by the way. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, your first title. Wow.
And I have to guess the synopsis. That'd be really hard. If I just have to you give me a title and I have to be what I don't a guy goes and parks his car. I don't know, man. That'd be a different show. All right, take 2 on this one.
All right. Your first movie comes from the year 1991.
Okay.
And the synopsis for it from IMDb reads as follows. A young man with superhuman strength is incarcerated in a private prison where inmates are treated like slaves. He is forced to use his unstoppable form of martial arts to destroy the corrupt officials and their lackeys.
I know I say it. It's my catchphrase, but that feels familiar. 1991.
It feels familiar, but it doesn't sound familiar?
So I think I have to officially define what these 2 phrases mean. So,
okay.
Feels familiar is both an internal gut reaction to it, and also a sounds familiar. So it's like a heightened, it's like a deeper sounds familiar. where it just sounds familiar. Just it's not. There's no like gut reaction to it. There's just like I maybe have heard of this, right? But
Okay.
But feels is more of like there's there's something to this that is a little bit deeper. Yeah. So this one feels familiar. Go ahead and say it to me one more time.
Yeah. 1991.
Okay.
A young man with superhuman strength is incarcerated in a private prison where inmates are treated like slaves. He is forced to use his unstoppable form of martial arts to destroy the corrupt officials and their lackeys.
So, young man in prison with superhuman strength is forced to use his talents, his abilities, to fight prisoners, the guards, and their lackeys, something like that.
To destroy the corrupt officials and their lackeys.
Destroy the corrupt. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I got most of the idea there. I might have to have you read that one again later on. But it's at least a guy, 1991, superhuman strength, prisoner. Okay. Corrupt prison situation. Okay.
Yes.
Next.
Your next one is from 1979.
Okay.
And the synopsis reads as follows. A prince enlists a thief to serve as his bodyguard to protect him from assassins.
So Aladdin? So wait, 79, prince enlists a thief to protect him from his assassins? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't sound or feel familiar. I mean, I said Aladdin just because the prince and a thief thing, but no, that doesn't fit at all. Okay, that's weird. All right, next.
That's your only comment on that?
I don't know. Weird. That one doesn't. Like, I don't get anything from that one.
Yeah. Okay. Your final one is from 1972.
Okay, 1972.
And the synopsis reads as follows. As two martial arts schools prepare for an important tournament, one school's master is a dishonorable man, and to ensure his son wins the title, he hires 3 Japanese samurais who target the rival school's best fighter.
I have seen this movie. And I can picture this movie in my head, but God help me if I remember what it's called. So I do know this movie. This one, I won't even say feels familiar. I know this movie. I've watched this movie, I think, with you all the way through. But I'm pretty sure I know this movie.
Interesting.
Because I want to say it might have been, oh man, is it his first film? Okay, so say this one again and the year.
Okay.
71, 72?
72, yeah.
72. A martial arts school. I got that much.
That's two martial.
So pause because man, this if I don't know this movie, what I think it is, because I mean, I don't want to be like cliche or whatever, but I can see them all dressed in white, and the one guy comes in, and there's a bunch of fighting. And as I explained this out loud, I realized that I'm just using martial arts tropes. But trust me, whenever listener,
a bunch of guys dressed in white, and there's a bunch of fighting.
They're Asian. I don't know. I've seen it, but I was trying to recall the movie in my head, and then I realized that I really can't explain too many details because I don't have them available. But as soon as you started to read this, I pictured the scene. So I know that I have seen this movie. I just do not remember what it was called whenever I watched it. So say it to me one more time, just for the sake of clarity, and then I'll try to recall these.
Okay. It's from 1972.
Mm-hmm.
As two martial arts schools prepare for an important tournament, one school's master is a dishonorable man, and to ensure his son wins the title, he hires 3 Japanese samurais who target the rival school's best fighter.
Yeah, and God dang it, is this... And I can't even remember his name right now. Lee. What was his name? That guy.
Bruce Lee?
Yeah. No, maybe? No. Am I thinking of Bruce Lee? I want to say it's someone like that's first movie or first role. or there was something about it that I remember you telling me, and that's why we watched it. Oh man, that's gonna bother me because this is, I think, the first time. Because even whenever you said Reservoir Dogs synopsis, I didn't have this recollection. I don't think any time in our series so far that you've said a synopsis and I felt like I absolutely knew what movie it was to this level. And that's almost now a worse feeling than thinking I know a title. Because now I'm like, God damn it, I know this movie and I cannot, and I'm just worried that you're going to say the title and I still won't know it. Okay, so let's try to capture what you just said. So the first one, if I remember correctly, was 1991.
Yep.
And it was about, was that the prisoner one?
Yes.
So that one was the one with superhuman powers?
Yes.
So the prisoner had superhuman power. It was born with superhuman strength. And he uses this ability to fight corruption within the prison and the prison guards' lackeys.
Pretty much, yes.
Along those lines. Okay.
Yep.
The second one was 1979?
Correct.
And it was about a prince hires a thief to be his bodyguard and protect him from assassins.
Yes.
And then the last one that I'm pretty sure I know and have seen was 1972.
Correct.
And it was about a martial arts school is having there's a competition. You might have to say this one again. Let me just try. There's a competition, and the corrupt owner of the school's son. There's that element, and then somebody's, and then there's 3 ninja assassins that are brought in to fight them.
As two martial arts schools prepare for an important tournament.
That's it.
One school's master is a dishonorable man, and to ensure his son wins the title,
yes, he
hires 3 Japanese samurais to target the rival school's best fighter.
I know I've seen this movie. I just really hope I can remember what it was called, but I know I have seen this movie, and I really feel like this movie is someone's first big on-screen appearance. And maybe they weren't even the star of the film. Maybe they were just in a secondary role. Ah, man. Okay. Title me, please.
All right. The first title I'm going to give you this week is Ricky O, The Story of Ricky.
Ricky O, The Story of Ricky.
Yes, that is RIKI-OH, The Story of Ricky.
Is that the one that you've shown me? Because that title sounds familiar. Okay, next title, please. I'm going to go ahead and just skip that. Ricky O, The Story of Ricky.
The second title I'm going to give you is Dirty Ho. H-O.
Yeah. That does not sound familiar at all. Dirty Ho. I don't have any... Dirty Ho. How would that fit into any of these? Is there is that Dirty Ho? Is that Dirty Dash Ho?
No.
Dirty Ho, 2 words. Okay.
Yes.
Dirty Ho. That just, I'm going to say it in different inflections and see if that helps. Dirty Ho? Dirty Ho. Nope, nothing. I'm not getting anything from that. Dirty Ho. So there's Ricky O, The Story of Ricky.
Yep.
And there's Dirty Ho, period.
Yes.
What's the other O title you're going to throw at me?
The last title you have is 5 Fingers of Death.
Oh, man, I have heard that title before. 5 Fingers of Death. Which one is that? Is that the super strength guy? Or is that the martial arts schools competing and one of the owners of one of the schools' son needs to win, so he sends ninjas to the competitor school to kill everybody. Oh, 5 Fingers of Death. Oh man, Dirty Ho is the only one that doesn't ring any kind of bells. Okay, so just try to eliminate Dirty Ho. So Dirty Ho doesn't ring any kind of bells, and the 1979 movie.
Yep.
Where the prince hires a thief as his bodyguard. That also doesn't ring any bells. So do I just automatically toss those two together? I don't know. But then the problem is that I'm left with a movie that I know that I have watched and I enjoyed. I can picture myself on your couch in one of your apartments and we watch this movie. I think we watched the movie after staying up way late one night, and then we slept, and then we woke up and watched this movie, and I was half like mentally there, but I did enjoy it. And then that leaves Five Fingers of Death. So it's Five Fingers of Death and Ricky O, the story of Ricky. I mean, so I just feel like just common sense would tell me that Ricky O, the story of Ricky, is about the individual born with superhuman strength who uses his abilities to fight corruption within the prison guards and their lackeys. I think Five Fingers of Death is that one that I saw. So what I hate about this is I hate going into this with like this much confidence because I'm so used to absolutely not having an idea and just kind of fitting this in, right? And then we always get to the point where like I get one right just by sheer chance, and I just flip the other two, and we got it. But this one, I really feel confident, and that is really kind of frightening me. So I think I'm just going to have to try and lock this in as this. So the 1991 individual born with superhuman strength who is imprisoned and uses the strength to fight corruption, prison guards, and their lackeys. I'm going to go with Ricky O, the story of Ricky. That means that the 1979 was first or 1972? 1979 was first. The 1979 Prince hires a thief as his bodyguard to protect him from assassins. The more I say that, the more that also sounds familiar. Have I seen all three of these? At least in part. Damn. But that would mean that one's Dirty Ho. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock that one in. Just because I don't know either. I don't know that synopsis and I don't know that title. So 1979, Prince, Thief, Bodyguard, Assassins, Dirty Ho. So then Five Fingers of Death, that has to be the one I saw. And that would be the 1972, two martial arts schools are competing, and the corrupt owner, the son, to ensure his son wins, the corrupt owner of one of the schools sends ninja assassins to the competitive school as Five Fingers of Death. I'm locking that in. Did I get any of those correct?
Alrighty. Well, this week you got your hat trick you were talking about.
Damn it.
In the sense that you got them all correct.
Oh,
yes.
Good. Holy shit, yeah. Yeah. I called it too. I called hat trick right away.
Yes.
Awesome. I don't know Dirty Ho. So I want to know more about this, but I also feel like that is like a well-known movie. I just don't know it. But yeah, as soon as you started to read the description for Five Fingers of Death, I really had no recollection of the title, but immediately I saw the scenes of like all the students in the school, and there's like a courtyard outside of one of the schools where they have this big battle, and they come into like this courtyard gate, and they fight them, and I want to, and correct me if I'm wrong too on the fact that I threw out there multiple times about this being an early film or one of the very first films of a famous martial artist.
Maybe. I think so. So Five Fingers of Death, aka King Boxer.
King Boxer, nice.
Is actually the movie that launched the U.S. kung fu craze in the 1970s.
Maybe that's the factoid that I'm thinking of is that
The lead in it is now I'm sure I'm going to get it wrong because I've never heard his name said by anyone before. I've only ever read it. So I'm going to guess his name is pronounced Lilo.
Lilo.
He is the lead
from The Fifth Element, right? Lilo.
Yeah, right. He is fantastic. So another thing that is prominent about this movie is that I believe Tarantino has cited it as being his favorite martial arts movie of all time.
Which is, I'm pretty sure, why I know this movie, because you showed it to me. I'm pretty positive.
And if that's the case, I do not remember that at all. I to my knowledge, I've only ever watched this movie by myself.
Oh, I was in the room. I was just half asleep.
I don't know if I watched it with you or if I just showed you parts of it or something.
No, I want to say we watched the whole thing because, like I said, as soon as you started to describe that, I remember seeing because it's not like at least the version we saw, it wasn't like the best film quality. It was kind of muddled, like muddy, in like some scenes as far as like the lighting goes. And I want to say that like the image quality wasn't super crisp either. It was good regardless. I'm not trying to dodge the fact that it was a good quality film, but I definitely visually remember that. Or it could just been that I was also just groggy, and maybe my vision was that. But I do remember, like I said, there's a scene in like the courtyard that was pretty awesome, where they're all out there like training or something like that, and then one of these assassins shows up, and it just goes like crazy. I'm pretty sure that's a scene that I remember, which again is also like 98% of all martial arts films.
I know. I love all of these like incredibly just generic descriptions you're giving of like.
Well, I mean, yeah, but okay, but like you said, this started the craze of these films in America. So I'm sure a lot of films after this emulated these exact same scenes that are kind of stereotypes now. But if you were one of the first to do this, I'm describing something that at the time was very unique. So that's what I'm coming for, is that I remember these scenes being very distinct. Clearly you don't remember me watching this, but somehow I remember me watching this.
So the Lilo's lead character in the movie, he starts out as kind of like he starts out kind of as like a mediocre fighter, yes, in a sense, and then he gets his hands like fucking broken.
I remember that.
If I recall correctly, he gets his hands like completely destroyed,
and he has to like retrain them.
And then he gets his the super ability in his hands. He like learns this technique, and so he has these moments in these fight scenes where they have this like below the frame they put like a red light, and he like puts his hands out, and this red light glows in the palms of his hands.
I think I recall this too.
And the siren song from Kill Bill.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Right.
Starts playing as his hands glow red.
I know I've seen this movie. And I hate that you don't remember that I watched it, because now I'm doubting that I did watch it, but I'm pretty sure I watched this with you.
I've probably shown you clips of it, but from my recollection, the only time I ever watched it, aside from here, is I know I watched it in my bedroom whenever I lived in Muncie. And then from my recollection, the second time I watched it was just like a year or two ago, whenever the Shaw Brothers box set from Arrow Video came out, and I watched it on Blu-ray.
So then it has to have been whenever you showed me clips, and you must have shown me a lot of clips, because I remember a good chunk
perhaps of
this movie.
I will say, speaking of which, at the time of recording, this movie, Five Fingers of Death, aka King Boxer, but I believe if you search Five Fingers of Death, you'll find it. It is currently available on Amazon Prime, and it is also streaming on Arrow Player. And if I don't even know if it's still available or not, but if you can scoop up the Shaw Brothers box set Volume 1, this movie is on there. Fantastic. Like one of my favorite box sets of all time. The two Shaw Brothers sets. I waited years for those.
Look for the courtyard scene where the ninja comes in during training and they all go crazy.
Look for guys in white practicing their martial arts, and then they fight.
Exactly.
Great scene. Very memorable scene.
Memorable, yes. And distinct. All right, tell me about the other two.
Yes, so I don't have a lot of information. So the only movie out of these three that I haven't seen and that I'm embarrassed I haven't seen is Dirty Ho, because it is kind of a Shaw Brothers classic from director Lau Kar-leung, who is like one of the most prominent like masters of martial arts cinema.
With a career spanning over 50 years and more than 100 films, Kung Fu Grandmaster Lau Kar-leung.
He also directed such martial arts class, like the greatest martial arts movies of all time. He directed them. 36th Chamber of Shaolin, Return to the 36 Chambers. He did my favorite martial arts movie, 8 Diagram Pole Fighter. He did like I think Drunken Master, the Jackie Chan movies. He did. He did this one. Like I said, it is known as a classic. It is also in, I think, Volume 1 Shaw Brothers box set. And it is currently available, because it's in that box set, it should be available on Aeroplayer streaming as well. And if you don't have Aeroplayer, it is available for like $2 to rent on Amazon. Also, Five Fingers of Death, I believe, is streaming, or not streaming. You can find the whole thing on YouTube, I believe. The whole movie's on there.
Nice.
But do watch it on Prime legally if you can.
Support the film.
And then because it is great.
It has that scene in the courtyard that's just memorable.
Yes, there is a courtyard scene.
I think there's actually more than one courtyard scene, but the one you showed me was the big fight scene. Anyway.
And our final movie, Ricky O, The Story of Ricky.
I've heard of this.
1991. It is a crazy, crazy movie. It is a martial arts comedy horror movie. It is wild, very gory, very silly, like ridiculous, over the top, on purpose, just like silly stuff.
Yeah.
So one thing that I read about this in my research for this episode is that so much fake blood was used in the finale of the finale sequence in the movie that the lead actor, whose name I'll probably pronounce incorrectly, but is Su Wong Fan. So much fake blood was used in that finale that his skin was stained red for like 3 days after they shot it, before he finally was able to wash it all off. And
he didn't wash it off. It's just his skin cells eventually died and flaked and were replaced by new ones. Yeah,
that's probably more accurate.
Yeah.
I also read that this was the first Hong Kong film passed with what's called a Category 3 rating, which is their version of like 18 plus.
Oh, okay.
Purely for the violence.
Oh, insane.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard of this.
Ricky O is not streaming anywhere. You cannot even rent it anywhere. They actually just last year, this distribution label out of the UK called 88 Films, they released a fantastic Blu-ray just last year that I picked up from Diabolic DVD. Not a sponsor, but I love them. Absolutely worth checking out. There is an amazing, incredible scene from the movie that you can find on YouTube. It's I think the video is called like the greatest fight scene of all time. And Ricky fights this dude, and the dude basically is getting his ass kicked, and he ends up taking a knife and cutting his stomach open and pulling his intestines out to try to strangle Ricky with his own intestines.
That's insane.
And like these guys watching the fight are like, "You got a lot of guts, Oscar." and Ricky like tosses the dude up into the air and punches him in the face. And whenever he punches the guy in the face, it goes to this like X-ray shot of his fist hitting his skull and his face like getting crushed.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it's fantastic. The movie is very silly.
You might have shown me clips from this too.
I've probably shown you that clip.
Yeah.
In particular. If you can track it down out there, I do highly recommend that movie. If you can find that Blu-ray that I was talking about from 88 Films, pick it up. It looks great. There's some bonus features on it that are great. It's fantastic. So
1 second. So go back and remind me. I just recalled this from earlier. What is the name of the lead actor in Five Fingers of Death?
Lilo.
Lilo, exactly.
Liehlo.
And if we rewind this, and I said, I'm thinking of the actor, and it's Lee something, and you were like, Bruce Lee? And I was like, nah, no, not that. Lee. What was his name? Am I thinking of Bruce Lee? I want to say it's someone like that's first movie. I just want to point out that I did have that somewhere in my memory bank, and I didn't realize it. So thank you. I just wanted to make sure that the world had that on record. All right, those all sound awesome. Definitely check out. So you said you haven't seen Dirty Ho.
Correct.
Okay, so I was going to ask if out of the two you have seen, definitely Five Fingers of Death is awesome. I mean, they're two kind of different movies, with one being more of a comedy and absurdity circus. But out of the two, as far as your taste, Five Fingers of Death is your pick. Like I said,
man, that's tough.
It's kind of apples to oranges, even though they're both sort of martial arts kind of. They're two different films completely.
Yes. I've watched them both twice.
Okay, so maybe it's a toss-up, huh?
It is kind of a toss-up.
I figured that would actually have been an easy answer for Five Fingers, but that's interesting to hear. So both of those are definitely worth watching, and then potentially also...
Yes. And then, Dirty Ho, like I said, I'm embarrassed I haven't seen that. That is, as far as martial arts movies go, that movie is like highly regarded as like a classic of the genre.
Interesting.
Very well received. Yeah.
So knowing that, I feel like I'm going to actually kind of struggle on the rating.
Yeah, I will tell you that two of them have the exact same, at the time of recording, the exact same star rating on IMDb.
Okay, so we did this once before with Reservoir Dogs, and I'm forgetting the other name of the title, that were very similar films, and I had to decide if like the two movies were tied for first, or if the two movies were tied for last. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, you said Dirty Ho is from like a well-regarded martial arts director, filmmaker, well-known. Ricky O, the story of Ricky. That one
Ricky O kind of has like cult status.
That's what I was going for. It's like that one feels like
it's not obscure, but
yeah. That one might be too extreme. Too absurd for even people who like martial arts films. It might be kind of beyond the pale with how absurd it goes, and maybe there's some people who are more, we'll say, traditionalists when it comes to martial arts films that don't necessarily like that comedy aspect. That's kind of where I'm going with this logic. So now I have to figure out if that's accurate. I'll go ahead and give a range. I feel like, and you didn't tell me that these were tied or not. You just said they were tied. So,
just Blu-ray.
Ricky O's Blu-ray cover is amazing. It is very illustrated in design, very vivid, and there is what I assume is Ricky O in front and center, and he has clearly punched not the head, the whole head, just the skull. The scalp. He's punched someone's scalp off, and the scalp is flying, blood. Yeah, that's very evocative. That's interesting.
It's fantastic.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and place Ricky O as the outlier. So I want to go ahead and assume that Five Fingers of Death and Dirty Ho are tied for first. And then for bonus points, I will say they are, 7.8. And Ricky O is 7.
Man, so you're very almost hitting the nail on the head all around. So Dirty Ho and Five Fingers of Death, aka King Boxer, are tied with a 7.1.
Ooh, okay. That was high.
Ricky O, the story of Ricky, aka Caged Fury, by the way, is right behind it with a 7.0.
Oh, so they were tightly clustered. That's a
Yes,
really
7.1, 7.0.
It's almost like a margin of error there. They could all just be tied.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe by the time this episode comes out, they will be.
Well, because I kind of always wonder how the ranking works. I'm sure that the 1 decimal point, there's some rounding being done here. So it could very well be that the 7.1 is maybe even closer to 7.0. It's just it rounded up to the next.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's cool. All right. Now I am extremely excited for the quote.
Yes, I do have a quote pulled for you.
Quote time.
Quote. If you are ready,
I think because here's the thing: is that I could visually recall Five Fingers of Death. I'm telling you, that courtyard scene is compelling, but I don't remember anything that was said. So the other two I haven't seen. I'm maybe a clip or two of Ricky O, maybe. So this will be a challenge, I think.
All right. Your quote for this week reads as follows, and I quote: "I was promised 7 bags of rice to turn you into mince meat and put you in a pie."
I was promised 7 bags of rice to turn you into mincemeat and put you into a pie.
Yep.
Oh, no, I'm feeling this one out in my head. So I was promised 7 bags of rice to turn you into mincemeat and put you in a pie.
Yeah.
So, okay. So is that some assassin or even just hired thug hired by an assassin to get rid of this thief that the prince hired, so that way the assassins can get to the prince? Or is that someone in prison who is getting more rations, more whatever, prison staples for doing a job for he's one of the lackeys of the corrupt prison guards. So basically I'm ruling out Five Fingers of Death. So now it's just a toss-up of which one. I was promised how many bags?
7.
7. That's important, I feel. I was promised 7 bags of... I feel like that's a week's worth of prison rations. So I'm going to go with this is... I'm going to go with this is a lackey of a corrupt prison guard talking or threatening Ricky O, and he does not know that Ricky O has superhuman powers.
Because you feel like 7 bags of rice is a week's worth of prison rations.
I feel like you're given a bag of rice a day.
Whoa.
That's it. And I'm talking like small bags. I'm talking about like baggies of rice to survive off of, to eat.
Right.
In this rough prison.
I didn't notate like who said it in the movie in which the line is from, but it is from the movie Ricky O, the story of Ricky.
This is a slam dunk episode for Will. That this will go on the trophy case for me as a perfect home run. That I have gotten 0 things wrong here.
Episode 18 will go down in infamy as
the only one. All right. So that was from Ricky O.
In like a month, whenever you listen back on this, you can smile and nod your head fondly.
Wait,
remember,
you've seen Ricky O, so
yeah.
So was I? You can tell me, was I wrong about the rations thing?
No, I don't remember that line.
You said
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, you said that.
I don't know.
We go back and rewatch. That'll be your homework, is to figure out.
The only line that I can remember is that dude yelling, "You got a lot of guts, Oscar," whenever he rips his intestines out.
That's insane. Whenever you were describing that one, I knew it wasn't in this movie, but one of my favorite parody films is I always forget the name too. Of course I do.
Kung Pao?
Yes. Fist of Fury?
Oh, Fist of Fury. Okay. Yeah.
Is that the one where like it's the comedy where they reuse the footage from
No, it is Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Enter the
right?
Fist. That's what it is.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parody films. It makes me laugh every single time.
I would have agreed with you like 5 years ago, but then I revisited it and I was like, yeah, man, this movie does not hold up.
Oh, really?
I didn't think.
Okay, so I haven't seen it recently-ish. I haven't seen it maybe 5+ years. But my friends and I from high school used to watch that movie all the time, and Neosporin still makes me laugh. Just there's all those stupid scenes where they reuse like the Monty Python run.
Mm-hmm.
All that shit was just, we would belly laugh for hours watching that at sleepovers. Yeah, I used to love that, and the fucking little tongue thing.
Yeah,
it's just the most absurd, stupid. I guess I knew that wasn't the movie that you were describing with Ricky O, but it just kind of brought back with the absurd, the absurd nature of that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, always one of my favorites. All right, well, because I slammed this one home, I said we call it good, and because I can't do any better than that.
All right, and we'll see you next week, everybody, with another.
I mean, I am like really proud of myself for having the confidence to say I'm going to get a hat trick. I didn't say that I was going to get them all right. I just knew that I was going to, get 3 in a row. But I think that kind of kicked off my victory on this episode, and yeah, I don't know.
It's because of all those paint your wagon clips you watched that just filled you up with all kinds of joy and confidence.
That's what it was. Yeah. I had a soda and I watched 10 minutes of paint your wagon clips, and man, I haven't felt better about my life than I am right now. I do kind of want to play with the idea of, okay, 5 Fingers of Death. So this whole story is that... Well, not the whole story.
King Boxer.
Sorry, what again? What was the title?
King Boxer.
King Boxer. The whole kind of premise is that... or the premise relies on the fact that, like, his hands were broken. And that kind of started his journey towards having this insane... we even maybe call it superhuman or supernatural ability with these hands, maybe, right? But definitely they were stronger after the fact, because he was a kind of a mediocre student in this martial arts school. So, if there were to be a sequel in which another body part was broken, and that caused someone who was mediocre to become amazing at something. So I'm not necessarily saying that we're continuing strictly, it can be, but I'm not saying we're strictly staying in martial arts. I'm just saying that the universe of this franchise is that a body part is broken, and then the sport or the activity or the job that requires use of that body part is then done exceedingly well upon healing. And that's the whole franchise that we're starting here, is just broken parts and then better at the end.
So this reminds me of a martial arts joke idea that I had. So years ago, whenever I worked in the video store, I would frequent the pizza joint next door, in which a friend of mine, Chris, shout out to Chris if he's listening, worked. And I kind of like on a whim, like just as a joke, I had created the title for what would be like a 70s martial arts buddy cop kind of TV series called Danny Husband and the Two-Armed Kid. And the idea with the Two-Armed Kid was that he had 2 arms. He has 2 arms, but he only fights people with his feet. He like kicks everybody.
Oh.
He like doesn't use his arms at all. He just kicks everybody that he fights. So his origin story could be that his feet were broken. Okay. And then he gained the like superhuman ability with his feet
we want to keep this in the martial arts world, and so now we're just breaking. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Well, but here's my other question too: is that how about this? How about we adapt? We borrow from your Two-Armed Danny and the Danny Husband and the Two-Armed Kid idea. We borrow from that a little bit. So what if this is the direct sequel to Five Fingers of Death, right? In that, in the direct sequel to that, the corrupt martial art owner...
10 Toes of Fury.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that they find out about the origin of this whole, he broke his hand and then got stronger. So the corrupt father was like, you have to break your feet, and we will rebattle that school. And I won't even use ninjas this time. We're just going to go hand to foot combat now. So this is a direct sequel where the other school comes back. So okay, I kind of like this idea, but the question becomes is they're still corrupt. They're still the bad guys technically.
Yeah.
So do you recall the character Lilo's character name?
Off the top of my head, no, but I could quickly look it up. I actually have it pulled up right now. His character name is Chao Chi Hao.
Chao Chi Hao. So Chao Chi Hao has to defend the honor of his school, also defend his honor. They know that the 10 Toes of Death are coming.
Fury.
The 10 Toes of Fury, you're right. Because we had the 10 Toes of Fury, right? So what? How is Chao Chi Ho? Was it Chao Chi Ho?
Yeah.
How is Chao Chi Ho going to battle and become victorious against the 10 Toes of Fury? Because he only has 5 fingers of death, so he's at least 2-1 outnumbered here. But he has the upper hand,
which is interesting
literally.
Also because he has 2 hands. So why is it 5 fingers of death?
Does he just break the other one? But I think they have to battle it out. I mean, I want to see like the 2-armed kid type thing where, like, you know, maybe the name is a distraction. Like maybe he Chao Chi Ho is worried about the other guy's feet work, but really it's his hands that, you know, he has to work. You know, he's sure he can move, but his feet were also broken and they just never healed right, so he really can't move that well. But the thing about it is that because he couldn't move that well, he had to really figure out how to use his arms awesomely, right? So he has the name 10 Toes of Fury as merely a distraction, a red herring, you know, for his opponents. I think there's something there. I think we have this whole saga where each sequel, more things are broken.
The buttocks of doom.
Oh God. The coccyx of killing.
The sternum of destruction.
No, you have to have a like. Well, I don't know. Maybe you could. I was trying to go with, which doesn't fit anything that we've done so far. But I was going with, it kind of has to have the same sound as the bone broken. But that doesn't fit anything we've just done. So because 5 fingers of death, it doesn't fit, and then 10 Toes of Fury. I guess feet and fury, but yeah, that doesn't work. So yeah, okay. The what do you say? The sternum of destruction.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so let's find out now. It's the scene where Chao Chi Ho hears about. We'll just call the other guy Ted, because we don't know his name. So that Ted and his corrupt father are coming back for a redo of the competition. And
Chao Chi Ho v. Ted.
And Chao Chi Ho doesn't know about the 10 Toes of Fury yet, right? I think they have to battle multiple times, and it's like a best 2 out of 3 sort of situation. And the first time Chao Chi Ho battles Ted, he has no idea of the footwork. And then he learns very quickly, oh, there's something special about this, about his feet, about his toes specifically. Not just his feet, but his toes specifically. He was gripping me. He was pulling.
I like the visual of Chow Chi Ho going for like a chop, and Ted like catches it in between his big toe and his like second toe.
Yeah, like a really like a quick zoom close up to that catch. Yeah. Because I was also picturing too like the move where your opponent comes in and you quickly disarm them by spinning them around really fast, and then shoving them away from you, right? So you spin them around, shove them away from you, but then upon that shove, Ted then uses his foot to grab the collar of the martial arts jacket, and he pulls Chow Chi Ho back to him, and then drop kicks him. Whatever, right? Yeah. So that's the first fight. Is that all that shit's going on? So like clearly there's like, holy crap! Like what? I came in expecting to go hand to hand, and now I have to worry about 10 more toes. So the next battle, I think it has to be a tie because we have to go to the third round. So Chow Chi Ho has to then focus on the feet a little bit more. So I think that he goes down and maybe stomps with his fist. He pounds on like the pinky toe, maybe. He kind of like stubs it a little bit. We got to find some kind of weakness in these toes. That's what I'm saying.
What if the dude has the other ability, like he's never washed his feet, and so his feet are just like disgusting?
Oh, God.
And that's like part of his strength. Is that like
they're just offensive? They're just really
the
smelly.
Smelliness of his fucking toes gets on the other dude's hands, and it like makes him want to stop fighting.
Oh wait, but hold on, but is Ted immune to that smell, or is he just so far away from the smell that it doesn't bother him? Because what I'm saying is that yes, Ted thinks that's a tactic, so he gets his stank on Chow Chi Ho's hand. But then Chow Chi Ho goes and Vulcan, split hand right to Ted's nose and uses his own medicine against him.
Like he uses his fingers to like open his nostrils wider?
He just like sniff my finger type move.
Oh,
right.
Smelly finger.
like this is what you did to me. Here it is back. So now he's incapacitated. So now Chow Chi Ho can then do his final blow and take him down. So now we're tied.
Did you ever watch Dragon Ball back in the day?
The cartoon thing, the anime,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
No, I think I was out of the age bracket for that.
So not Dragon Ball Z, but the prior one, Dragon Ball.
Oh, then no, I don't even know that existed. I only know of Z.
So there's Dragon Ball Z where like kind of the main guy Goku is like an adult and everything, but the prequel. Yeah. The first one is Dragon Ball, and he's still a little kid.
Oh, no, I had no idea.
In that series. Well, there was, pretty much the only memory I have from that show is there is a martial arts tournament that he's fighting in, and the guy that he's fighting is this huge dude, and his attack is Smelly Finger. And so he literally yells like "Smelly Finger!"
Oh my gosh!
And it's he just index finger swings it at him, and you can see like the fucking stank,
the distinct cloud of
animations. Yeah,
yes.
That's what this reminded me of.
So Chow Chi Ho has the red light around his hands whenever he goes into his power intensification, pose or whatever, right? So is there a greenish light around Ted's feet whenever he goes?
Yes.
Okay. So, but we've found Ted's weakness in that this smell is potent, and Ted is not immune to it. He's just 5 feet away from it at all times. So even Ted has never been, attacked by his own smell, right? So now Ted has to be okay. I can't really use the smell thing in this third round, because he might just use it against me. So now we're kind of balanced. So now, how does the last fight happen to where Ted is sent back to his martial arts school with his corrupt father, and they lose, and that's because I think in the third movie, these two come together to fight a different foe. But I think in this one, Ted learns that he really isn't great. He's humbled, right? Like the first movie, he was still selfish because there was his dad wanted him to do this type thing, and he was just the bad guy. This is the one where we learn that like Ted really does just want to win, not in a deceitful way. He does just want to win, but Chachi-Ho is just that good, and he's also honorable, right? So we get this balance, and then in the third film, which we'll describe later on, they have to come together and fight. What would you, Sternum of Destruction or whatever it was?
Like this dude with robotic arms and legs, and they have to come together as the feet and the hands to like work together to beat him.
Yeah. So, okay, but before we get there, before we go into the third movie, let's finish up this one. So we've got the third round, best out of three. This is for all the glory. This is for the title and this second annual competition between just these two schools. And we're finally playing fair, except for each school now has a star martial artist with a special ability. Ted has learned that he is also weakened, or he's not immune to his own abilities. So he has decided for the first time, I think, to wash his feet. But Chachi-Ho doesn't know that. Chachi-Ho is coming into the third fight saying, I'll do the same thing I did last time. Right? And all of a sudden, right as the match is about ready to begin, we get Chachi-Ho's POV, and it quick zooms on Ted's foot, and his like toenail sparkles. It twinkles a little bit. It's like, oh shit, they're clean. I don't know what to do now. Right? So what is this last battle that happens? Does Ted still use his foot power? Was his foot power only stench? I mean, because he was gripping things earlier too.
I think he goes in there using his feet like he had been, right? Like only doing kicks and like using his feet as weapons,
right? As almost like two more sets of hands.
And so the fight's going like that, and Chachi-Ho is like blocking them with his hands and stuff. Like every attack that he does, he's able to block it and counter it. And then where Ted messes up is he accidentally swings with his hand, which he's never done before.
Oh gosh. Oh, okay.
And then he's like kind of stunned for a second, like, wait, what have I done? And then Chachi-Ho gets the jump on him.
Okay.
I don't know.
No. Stupid. No. I think I have something that's even better. I think.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's the listeners can definitely tell that it's 4 a.m. If they're still with us. So okay, how about this? I just pictured this in my head. Chachi-Ho sees that the feet are clean, right? So he has to quickly devise another plan of attack. He had come into this one thinking, this is like the next week. Like these don't happen back to back. These happen, different weeks, right? So he's had a whole week to he smelled onions while he's fighting. That's like the training, right? He's trying to get himself ready to be at least more able to handle the stench, even though it's impossible.
Puts chunks of day-old salmon in both of his nostrils.
Yeah, there's like fish heads and yeah, exactly, yeah. So you get that shot, like I said, where he sees the quick zoom POV from Chachi-Ho onto the twinkling toe of Ted. Oh shit, they're clean. What am I gonna do? Right? There's no way to defuse this guy. So then Chachi-Ho quickly decides, I'm going all in. And I think to kind of get back onto what you said, I think Chachi-Ho has to do a handstand the whole time. So now strong hands are on the same level as strong feet, and weak hands are on the same level as weak feet. Make sense?
Yeah.
So now Chachi-Ho does a handstand, quickly walks over on his hands, and stands on the feet of Ted. So now they have to battle each other. Ted's weak hands have to battle Chachi-Ho's weak feet at eye level, or at Ted's eye level. I get at normal eye level, because right now Chachi-Ho's upside down. So it's just this like like slap fest of like uncoordinated feet and hands just slapping at each other. I think there has to be a submission move somewhere. We'll figure that out in the redo of this draft, the next draft of this. But I think we're onto something with the cinematic universe of broken appendages and gaining some special ability. I really want to see these two come together in the third film and battle
to fight the mecha limb.
Fight let's see here, femur of destruction or something like that. Yeah.
Cyborg Dan. The robot arms and legs.
There it is. We finally, ladies and gentlemen, that is our stopping point. An hour in, we finally have the show title, Cyborg Dan. What was that called again? Oh my god, I think we're drunk. Cyborg Dan.